Hello and welcome to a sunny afternoon at Crystal Valley Motorsports Park. We have a wonderful day of qualifying for Race 2 for the Scrap Mechanic Auto Racing League. Today, we still have the 16 competitors competing for the championship at the end of this season, and let's introduce you to them right now. We are going in order of creation, so we're going to have the first 8 being the original cars from the series, and then the next 8 being the custom sponsored and owned cars. First, we have White Ryder, unsponsored. Lemon Racer, Chaos Shifter, Grasshopper, and Red Thunder are also unsponsored. Up next, the first sponsored original racer is Blue Bruiser, who was sponsored by Turbo Envy. And then Sweet Haze, recently sponsored actually between last race and this one, has been sponsored by Superallo YT. Black Knight is the final of the original racers, but without a sponsor. Up next, we have the custom owned racers, which is Fiery Dragon, sponsored and owned by Dragon Breath. Legends Tires, who's been owned by Legend Over One and their new tire brand. And then finally, Lamb Industries has been changed from Lamb and Lion, who's owned by Lamb Chop Pro 2000. Lamb Industries has now been changed, however, their tag is now the same as LAL. Purple Shadow Racing is up next. It's owned by Nether Gamer and sponsored by Le Cookie. Sniper's Dream, owned by JFK Experience. And Typhoon Blade, owned by Nick1X. The last two, sponsored by Gladian, is Neon Annihilator and Peanut King, who's owned by Anferny. Moving on to the season standings, we have Sniper's Dream, who had a commanding lead for the entire race 1. Now is going to be challenged by Blue Bruiser, who got second place. Neon Annihilator, who's third, seemed to got lucky because everyone else crashed out. However, that doesn't mean that they aren't driving for the win. Now let's check out these racers qualifying. Up first, we have White Ryder. White Ryder has had an interesting race from the last season, or the last race, excuse me. They didn't finish as well as they would have liked. However, they did get a lot of practice and training in. Coming in here to Crystal Valley, it's a highly technical track with a lot of different turns and an also super long straightaway. There's actually 16 straights and 16 turns, so it's relatively balanced in the number of straights. However, the turns make the most difference in gained or lost time. We're actually changing the format of qualifying a little bit. So all the racers will still qualify. However, the only recorded ones will be the top 8 times, as well as maybe some important major crashes or changes that we may have seen or reasoning for slower times. White Ryder setting off the tone as usual, doing really well through that final turn. However, it looked like they were a little bit slow going through the stairway, which can lose a lot of time. That put them in at 1:19.302, the time to beat for everyone else. Up next, we have Grasshopper. Seemed to be doing really well coming out of the stairway, but into the little hairpin that we have, he lost a lot of time, over 2 seconds down to White Ryder. Finishing, he ended up with a 4th, going above 120 with a 121.998. Very close to going 122, which isn't the place to be. However, if you can stay consistent, then you can make up that time easily during a race. Up next is Blue Bruiser. Blue Bruiser is actually one of the there's only a few couple cars that have been changed by the sponsors. As you guys know from the Discord, I opened up that the sponsors can change the suspension setup because the front suspension needs to be a little bit softer than the rear suspension just so that it can get better grip into the turns. However, Blue Bruisers, against the race engineers' advice, Blue Bruiser sponsor Turbo Envy decided to go full soft on the front suspension, going at the minimum limit, and then a little bit softer on the rear, giving Blue Bruiser extreme grip, however causing a lot of oversteer. So you can see this going on right now. Blue Bruiser is drifting, spinning, barely making it around slow corners because so much grip coming out the exit of the turns means that they won't have a lot of control. You can see here Blue Bruiser spinning nearly after every slow corner, losing time and seconds. So hopefully we can get the sponsors to look at this and see that maybe doing the softest suspension isn't the best choice, because all the default racers are defaulted to 5 front suspension strength and 7 rear suspension strength. That has been proven and tested to be the most consistent and quickest lap time around most of the tracks. However, there may be some tracks with more or less turns that may call for softer or harder suspension. Blue Bruiser, over 23 seconds back, is just struggling just to get back to the starting line. Man, it's so unfortunate. You can see Red Thunder getting out of the way, knowing that he's a wild card, knowing that there's no really idea where to predict that he's going to be. And Blue Bruiser comes in at around over 30 seconds down. The 146.178. Blue Bruiser is going to be a definite blast in the qualifying. That's so disappointing because they got second place last race and they were had a strong win in the exhibition race too. But now they have to come in from the back because of their suspension setup. Up next, we have the recently sponsored Sweet Haze, the pole qualifier from last race, but ended up down in the back of the pack. For some reason, maybe getting crashed out, maybe making some mistakes. However, they are not done. As you can see, they're coming in higher than White Ryder. So far, White Ryder was the fastest pole qualifier. And Sweet Haze is just moving on. We checked and everything is still default about them. There's no change in suspension, no change in engine speeds, and Sweet Haze is moving. Going through the stairway, which is the term for this technical section of the track, you can see he's gaining and losing time on certain corners. However, if you can take the right line, as mentioned in the track description I left on YouTube and Discord, you can gain a lot of time. Super Olo YT must be happy to see Sweet Haze moving forward, doing really well, almost qualifying in the front so far. This should be provisional first place. There it is. Sweet Haze gets a provisional first place with their time of 1:18.976. They have been the only racer so far to break the 1:19 mark. Up next, we have Fiery Dragon. Fiery Dragon is the next racer, one of the only three, I believe, to have changed their setup. He actually increased the rear suspension to 8 and changed his downforce a little bit higher. That will affect their top speed, but will let them come around the corners a lot easier and quicker. As you can see during the stairway, Fiery Dragon has a lot more speed going through the turns than all the other racers. However, on the longer straights, he will not reach the top end as quickly as he would if he didn't have as high a downforce. Sponsors, if you want to change your own racers, feel free to let me know on the Discord, and I will change up different speeds and attributes of your racers as you see fit. However, I highly suggest keeping them default so that you don't have any potential mistakes as we saw with Blue Bruiser. Interviewing Fiery Dragon's owner, Dragon Breath, they said that Fiery Dragon may have lost the last race, but his fiery desire is to win this race. Let's see if this new fiery desire will pay off. So far it has. With a 119.512, they get provisional third place. Up next is Legends Tire, who had a very disappointing last place finish from the last race in race 1 because they kept on getting hit by other racers and crashing out and having to correct, and they just didn't get lucky. However, they did qualify, I believe, in third place last time, so let's hope that they have something new going for them as well. Legend Over 1 said that he think that Legends Tire had a good run last race, however just a slip up trying to avoid contact with another car coming in. However, the race was good for gathering intel on everyone else because it's really one of the first time that Legends Tire has been on the racing field with all the other competitors. Gathering information seems to be their main priority for both last race and this race, seeing how they can tweak their car for better performance with each track. I guess the gathering must have worked because they bump out Fiery Dragon for the third place position with a 119.405. Legends Tire up into third place in the qualifying so far. Up next, we have Lamb Industries, who didn't qualify so well before. However, now they had a little incident with Legends Tire during qualifying, and Legends Tire actually runs into Lamb Industries, knowing we don't know how that happened. However, Race Control issued a warning to Legends Tire saying that if they do this again, they will get a grid penalty the next time they block someone during qualifying. And Lamb Industries actually gets 10th place in front of Blue Bruiser, but that crash really caused a lot of problems. We are getting word that they will actually be able to try again. So we will see Lamb Industries after this qualifying round for another hot lap to see if they can qualify any better. Up next is Purple Shadow Racing, owned by Nether Gamer. Nether Gamer actually came to me. There was a lot of disappointing factors that came in for both Fire Dragon and Nether Gamer, as they were both spun out in the last quarter of the last lap. And Nether Gamer has said, well, our last qualifying time went really well. Of course, we hope to keep that momentum for this qualifying too, although the track is really different. Nether Gamer also said that it's a shame that they got spun in the last lap, but they have high hopes for this qualifying and race. Seems like their high hopes equated to some amazing times, because Purple Shadow Racing bumps down White Ryder and Legends Tire for the second place in qualifying. Can you believe that? Purple Shadow Racing up in the provisional second in the qualifying round. Up next, we have the championship leader from race 1, as well as the winner of the race 1, Sniper's Dream. JFK-owned Sniper's Dream has been terrifying on the track during both the training and practice rounds, and looking at it now, it looks like he's moving for it. Staying well above even Sweet Haze's time, Sniper's Dream is moving through the stairway like nobody's business. It looks like Sniper's Dream has not given up on the championship lead yet, because bet money is still on them. However, going through that corner after the stairway, it seemed like Sniper's Dream slowed down a little bit. Maybe had a little bit of a slip in tires and had to slow down to catch themselves. However, they're still finishing strong within half a second of the leader. However, Sniper's Dream still within 0.4 of a second of the leader, getting down into 4th place. Up next, we have Neon Annihilator. Neon Annihilator actually placed 3rd in race 1 and is coming back with a fiery passion. Some people are saying that it was made out of luck that he got into 3rd. However, I think it was still a mix of skill, because it takes some skill to avoid all those crashing cars in a last lap like that. And during qualifying, it looks like he's doing really well with his timing too, staying within a second or below a second of Sweet Haze. Coming out of the stairway and in through the carousel, it looks like Neon Annihilator is doing really well, staying within 1/10 of a second of the leader qualifying time. And man, a lot faster than they qualified in the last race. Going through the front stretch, getting a huge burst of acceleration, Neon Annihilator actually gets timed, knocking out Purple Shadow Racing with a 2nd place, a 119.045. That's only 69 hundredths, nice, seconds off of Sweet Haze. So close to breaking the 119 mark, but it looks like so far Sweet Haze is the only one to break that time. As mentioned before, Lamb Industries did get another qualifying lap, and so here is the result of their, I guess, redo that they get. Not very many people get a redo qualifying lap, so let's hope that Lamb Industries capitalizes on it. Lamb Industries does improve on their time, however, that gets them barely into the top 10 with a 119.680. The top 10 racers are actually within 0.7 of a second of the leader. So congratulations to Sweet Haze, Neon Annihilator, and Purple Shadow Racing getting the top 3 qualifying times, as they will get the top 3 grid spots for the start of the race. I hope to see you guys tomorrow for race 2 of the Scrap Mechanic Auto Racing League Season 1.